Hello, thanks for joining me today. I want to preface this video with a disclaimer. What I started to do initially did not work. It really did not work. And I came down to one reason, and that was because I didn't put enough base paint down on my canvas. So it was a disaster. It really didn't work. But I did manage to save it. So hopefully you'll come along with me while we take the journey to save this poor little wooden canvas and end up with something that's actually kind of cool. For today's project, I took a wooden canvas or board and gave it a quick coat of white. Cameo Sammy sighting! Today I am using Artist Loft metallic acrylics. I have mixed my paints with Floetrol and water to a very runny consistency. When you drizzle the paint back into the cup, it does not make a mound. When doing a Dutch pour, it is important that all of your paints are the same consistency, or else some colours may sink into the base. This is what I was using the paper in the top right hand corner for. You place a dot of each paint colour, tilt the page, and they should all run down at the same speed if the consistencies are correct. It became obvious fairly quickly that I did not have enough white paint as my base in order to be able to do a proper Dutch pour. Thus begins the frantic search for additional white paint ready to go down onto the base. Apart from the copper being placed down now, and the gold, which is the 9th colour down, all the rest were just metallic colours. Metallic blue, metallic green, etc. You get the idea. Don't worry about the splashes, you won't see them when we're done. So now we finger paint. I did notice I was getting too much of the base paint on my finger, but I had my handy dandy cloth ready to use. And now we tilt it a little bit to try and get the paint to flow down the board, but of course I didn't have enough of the base paint. And now we're going to do exactly the same thing on all 4 sides. At this point, I thought I had plenty of paint left over and I was just going to put it all on there and stretch it. There still wasn't enough paint for it to actually start moving, and the Arizona heat had made it start to dry very quickly, which of course meant it wasn't going to move anyway, but I was not going to give up. I will get every tiny ittle bitty piece of leftover paint onto my board. None shall be left behind. In an effort to try and salvage something from this disaster, I grabbed a pair of tweezers that I had at the side of my work area and decided to go ahead and try wrecking the paw. As if it wasn't wrecked enough already. But when I say wrecking the paw, that means moving an object through the paint to give it some extra lines and character. It dried really nicely, but I don't like this. Usually when you do a pour, I like the paint to cover the sides, which in this case was another issue of not using enough paint in the pour. I have some Benjamin Moore, and the colour is Sweet Rosy Brown. I decided to go with brown because it is a wood board, and I also needed a darker colour to cover the bits of paint that did manage to drip over the edge. I might need more than one coat, but we'll see what happens. If I hate it, I can always paint over it with another colour. Good news is it does seem to be covering the paint with a single coat. Also, I forgot to tape the back, so we're going to be painting the back as well. It's always better to be neat with your sides and back, even if the back is rarely seen. It's so much more professional if you want to sell your pieces later. It's extremely important that the canvas is level for the resining. As you can see, it's very close but not perfect, and it has a wobble. So I put a popsicle stick underneath the cup and it doesn't wobble anymore. You can see now it's level, and if we go around it's also level, so this is the perfect setup. You do not want to do this inside unless you're in a very well ventilated room. The fumes can cause health issues if you breathe it in too much. This is the resin brand that I'm using. It's a 1-to-1 mixture. I have a respirator. It is extremely important you wear PPE when working with resin. And I have my gloves. I have mixed the resin already. I figured you didn't need to see me stirring for 10 minutes. Obviously, I need a more stable support than 4 paper cups. Next time. I'll be sure to find something better for next time. Grabbing my heat gun to pop any bubbles. When you're popping your bubbles, it's important not to focus on one spot, whether you use a heat gun or a torch or a lighter or however you do it. You need to keep moving it over the resin without stopping in one place. It's 24 hours later and the resin is cured beautifully. I do have to get to the back and remove some of these drips. You need to check several times at the beginning of the curing process to make sure that you wipe off all of the drips. I only did it once and you can see the results of that decision. Also, if at any time I had taped the back of my painting, I could have ripped off the drips when I removed the tape. Now it's cute, I could put it up on my wall, but I am looking for suggestions. What would you suggest I use this board for? If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would click on the like button. And of course, if you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe and the bell and you'll be notified the next time I put something out.